the combine is in the books, and inevitably there are some changes
As
to
always.
some rookie rankings. So we are giving you our top 30 players, essentially almost top 30 in this year's class. And we're excited for it.
Yeah.
Do us a favor, drop a like to show some support.
Come on, guys.
Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. And we're going to be talking about it. But who is your biggest risers and fallers after the combine? Now, to clarify, we've talked about this on a live stream before, but I tweeted out something which I think is kind of the ethos of how I view the combine,
Right.
which is essentially overreaction is the wrong reaction, but no reaction is also the wrong reaction. So, got to stay a little even keel here, but also some things matter. Like combine for running backs has always been super important. Same for tight ends. So let's look at this from tier 5 all the way up, Badaki, and this will get interesting, I'm sure.
It is going to be very interesting, so let's see what happens.
Darnell Washington. I have Darnell Washington in this tier 5. I just don't know how we could ignore him after that performance. As we've talked about before, testing for tight ends is, I would say, the second most important of the positions that we cover here on the channel.
Yep.
And he tested incredibly. So
crazy numbers this guy put up.
I think we could see him in the first round. And I did not expect him to run that kind of 40.
No.
I did not expect him. I expected him to test well, but not like that. And I think it's going to put him on the map. He might get first round draft capital locked in.
Yeah. I mean, as a reminder, guys, 6'7", 264 pounds, and he ran a 4.64, which is crazy. 10-yard split was 1.57. He was moving, and I remember us watching it live, and it was like, all right, Darnell Washington, let's see where he's going to go. Maybe 4 in the 4.7s.
We're like, if he gets 4.7, we're happy.
Yeah. He runs 4.64.
At that size.
Wow.
Yeah,
incredible.
Ridiculous. Okay, I also have Luke Musgrave in this tier.
Yep, I have Luke here as well.
I like this tight end class, and I think you could see from our last tight end video, people are questioning why we have this class ranked higher than some of the current tight ends in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard it before. We've said it, but maybe now you've heard it at the combine. People that you trust who have said it. This is one of the best tight end classes we have seen in years.
Long time.
And we're seeing that. All right, I have Jalen Hyatt here. I don't know where you have him. Personally, I didn't like Hyatt as a player coming in. I thought there was a lot of flaws. And we were told that he had this true, like, game-changing 4.3 speed. Now, 4.4 flat is not bad, and he tested well in other areas, but I think the value from this player, what we were being told by people who were in on him was, oh, yeah, wait till he runs a 4.29, right? Wait till he runs a 4.31.
Right.
And I just feel like I was slightly disappointed by what he did at the combine.
Yeah, look, it's definitely very disappointing. I don't have him in tier 5. I do have him one tier higher. I think, not saying you're disrespecting him or you don't believe in him. I think
Sure.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he is a very talented player, and I think maybe he did have a bad day. Yeah, but you're right. Guy that was getting high praise. So many people in our comments, so many people in the Twitter sphere saying he is probably going to be the fastest guy in the NFL combine, and he's running a 4.4, very underwhelming. But I still believe in his overall base. I don't believe in the.
He tested well everywhere else outside the 40.
Exactly.
I just feel like that's where his value was perceived to be coming from.
To be right. I mean, I'm happy to maybe put him on pause.
Why don't we leave it and we'll have a conversation about it.
Exactly.
I'm sure there'll be other things that we might disagree on here. All right, a player that I love who had probably the worst combine. I'm not ready to drop him to like 4th round just yet. I still have him in this 3rd round category. Maybe he does move back to like the back end of this tier, but I still like the player, and that is Kayshon Boutte. Test awful. Like it was an awful test. Like every conceivable part of his testing was bad. Was really bad. I still like the talent though, and I think here in the 3rd round he becomes a really intriguing sleeper. People are going to already be hating on the name. I'm sure people will be commenting right now. You can't have Boutte. He's irrelevant. Don't even talk about him. But I still want to see the last nail in the coffin for me will be draft capital, Badaki.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get drafted in the first 3 rounds, then okay, let's pop him all the way down. But I have him here. I don't know about you.
I have him also in tier 4. Once again,
you have him in tier 4. Okay.
I do have him in tier 4. It's kind of the similar situation as Jalen Hyatt. The talent's there. the performance was bad, maybe teams are going to see that. Maybe teams are going to say, hey, can he even be, a middle of the second round guy, a high second round guy? I'm not necessarily sure, but I completely agree with you. He is somebody that if he doesn't get the draft capital, we're putting him down. I would personally
Can I tell you what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
One thing I was going to say was that I'm happy to move Jalen Hyatt down and keep Kayshawn on top, because I would rather have Kayshawn in tier 4 than Jalen Hyatt in tier 4.
Okay. We did see around the Twitter sphere that he actually ran, I think, 23 miles per hour during his 40-yard dash. And, that's not being talked about. So NFL teams will have access to that. You're saying you're happy to move Hyatt down.
Yeah. Would you
I would actually. Sorry,
like,
go ahead.
Would you like Kayshawn here in tier 4 rather than Jalen Hyatt?
Well, I have him ranked slightly higher, so I would be happy with that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not advocating for either of these guys in tier 4, but if
sure.
I choose between them, I would say Boutte.
Understandable.
But you know what it reminded me of, and I hate to say it. I think last year what happened to David Bell. That's just kind of what it feels like. Only worse,
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. All right, let's keep going. I have Tajay Spears in this tier 5.
Yep, I have him there as well. I agree.
I have Kendre Miller in this tier 5. I know a lot of people are high on Kendre Miller, but what can we really take away from this weekend so far? Waden, kind of like what we were hoping to, but didn't do anything else. So how can you move him up at this point, right? I got Israel Banikonda in this tier, who I'm really happy with his size and profile. What did he officially come at, Badaki? Maybe you can
I'll pull it up.
Find that
I'll
for
pull
us.
It up for us.
But we were hoping he was going to come in around at least 210, and I think he came in at 214, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 5'11", 214?
Yeah, just pulling up here right now.
Just as he's waiting on that, these 3 running backs, just to clarify, and also I'll put Tank Bigsby here because I also have him. But I just want to clarify, these 4 running backs with draft capital can absolutely be in the next tier for me. Absolutely. I got no problem. If you're a Tajay guy, a Kendre guy, a Tank guy, hey, if they get second round capital, early third, I mean, we can absolutely have a conversation about popping them into tier 4.
Izzy, 5'10", 216 pounds he came in as.
We love that. So that's a great size for him.
Yeah.
I also have Tank in this tier. That was my last guy. Do you have Tank
That
here?
was your last guy. I have Tank in tier 4.
Okay.
I like what he put. I liked his numbers. A bigger.
He tested well.
Yeah, he tested well. But I do have Izzy. I do have everyone. I would say I do have one more person in this tier that I think you may not have ranked at all, and that's Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. So he is a guy here. It's so hard to
Where would you have him ranked? Let me ask you that. You don't have him ahead of Luke or Darnell, right?
Technically, yes.
You have him ahead of both?
I have him ahead of Darnell right now, but based off the I know that's crazy. Based off the rankings and what we're doing in our rookie profiles, I'm trying to stay true to that. And right now, I do have Sam Laporta higher, but after the combine and after the testing and all the numbers putting in together, Sam still is a little bit higher than Darnell.
Oof.
It's hard. It's hard for me as well to even look at that. I want
to compromise. I want to meet you where you are. I don't know if I can get this high.
I'm happy to put Sam in. I'm happy to put him in at the end. Yeah, because he was just an extra guy. You didn't even have him ranked there. I'm happy to put him at the end. I just wanted to give him the notice. I love what he did at the combine.
I'm happy to put respect on his name.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tier 4. Look, I don't have Tank or Boutte. Sorry,
Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. I would have Boutte here. Again, I'm just thinking David Bell. I'm trying to project. I feel like these running backs are going to get better draft capital, and I feel better about them. And I would also have
Tank you on David Bell. It's a bit scary now. That name.
Scary.
Once you said that name, I was like, holy shit! Like, please no.
It's tough, right? I mean, here, like combine. You kind of want to meet expectations or put yourself on the map.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is blow it up in the worst way possible, and that's what Boutte did.
That's exactly what he did.
And there was already the off-field issues. You and I going in, remember, we were like, he's going to test well. We had every belief that he was about to test really well. He even from a podium said, I'm going to run a 4.3, like mid 4.3s.
Right.
Puts up a 4.5. I mean, look, speed isn't everything, but also you're like. The Boutte truthers, which I was one of those, were finding less and less things to grab onto.
Yeah.
Well, the production wasn't there, but
It's tough. It's tough.
Well, but he's gonna test well, So, um, so anyway, I'm happy to leave those guys in, but I would have Butte down. I just feel like I'm kind of projecting that trend.
I get what you're saying.
As it's gonna happen. Okay, into tier 4, I have Dalton Kincaid here.
Yep, I'm here with you.
I got Zach Evans here. Please tell me. Please, man.
I do have Zach Evans here.
Yes, let's go. Finally.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to improve. If anything,
exactly.
He was higher in tier 3 because you advocated for him last time you did this, and he was already. If I'm not, I think he was in my tier 4 at the time or tier 5 at the time. But
sure,
one of these tiers.
The only reason I have him lower today is because we don't have official information on how he has tested. Right, we're hoping at his pro day we'll see some more testing. The only reason he's moved down is because other running backs performed incredibly well and put themselves on the map. And he weighed in at 202 pounds. I have a theory on that. I think because of the injury and because he was planning on trying to run the 40, he was trying to get down. I don't think he's playing at 202. I really think he's playing at like 210. That's how I actually feel like he will. And he'll have those conversations in interviews. So again, if Zach Evans tests well whenever we see him and gets good draft capital, I am still on Zach Evans. I'm still happy to move him up. I just think right now I can't put him ahead of these other guys who have answered questions that we had question marks to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I have Chase Brown here in tier 4.
Chase Brown downtown. I have him 1 tier higher at the moment.
Okay, that's gonna get interesting because my tier higher is like these like really can't miss players. So I don't know how this is going to work.
How it's going to look. Let's talk about it. Let's leave it and we can come back to it. Because let's see how the rest of this tier 4 pans out.
Chase tested well. We'll talk about it in a second. I got Rashee Rice here.
Rashee Rice. Yep, I have him here as well.
One of my biggest risers of the combine, I got Rashawn Johnson in my tier 4.
Big ol' Roscoe. Yep, I have him right there as well.
He's my running back 6 now. Like,
be careful. Be careful.
The 10-yard split was so impressive. I didn't see that burst on film. I need to watch more, but he had the same 10-yard split as Bijan Robinson. A better 10-yard split than Jahmyr Gibbs. I was like, what? Okay. I got Sean Tucker in this tier.
Sean Tucker. Okay. Another guy I have up in tier 3.
Okay.
Once again,
we'll have to have a conversation about this because
we'll have a conversation of both of these. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. And I have 3 other players here, one being Josh Downs, who personally I felt a little bit let down by at his size to run a 4.48, was it? Was it a 4.48?
Yeah, 4.48, correct.
That is not a good 40-yard dash. Now, of course, game speed versus combine. Combine does not mean everything. I'm not docking him, but I'm just thinking he was one of those guys that we wanted to test well to kind of solidify himself as an early 2nd round pick. Not so sure anymore.
Right.
Not so sure.
Right.
Do you have him in tier 4?
Yeah. I do have him in tier 4. Sorry, I didn't clarify that. I do have him here.
That's okay. I have Xavier Hutchinson here.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I had Josh Down in tier 3. I don't.
Okay.
That's my fault. I didn't clarify.
This is going to get really tough, man, because my tier 3 is like the really good 1st round picks. And okay, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
I have Xavier Hutchinson here in tier 4.
Xavier Hutchinson did fall in my rankings significantly because a lot of other people perform better. So he's actually not on this list right now, unfortunately.
Sorry, so you're saying he's not on the list at all?
On the list at all, no.
Okay. So what did you not like about Xavier Hutchinson?
It's not that I didn't like about Xavier Hutchinson.
We didn't think he would have burner speed.
Right. So
I liked him beforehand. I don't know. I feel like that might be too much of a overcorrection.
It's just like I have the top 8. I have my top 8 wide receivers. Maybe I should I could extend it to the top 10, right? So if I do add Xavier Hutchinson here, he would be in tier 4, but I only had the top 8 guys here.
Okay. Personally, I didn't based off speed, I didn't think he had burner speed. So 4.53 is not.
I don't think he performed.
Not surprising.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily
for someone with his game, like as a route runner, we know he can create separation.
Right.
And so
it's not necessarily that he
personally
performed
wasn't
bad.
disappointed. But.
Yeah, it's not necessarily for me that he performed bad. I just think he didn't set himself apart or do anything to where I actually like some of these other guys a little bit more now. You know,
Okay.
I like Rashid a little bit more. I like all these other people. I mean, obviously the people that you have in your tier 3, I have in tier 4, but I am happy to have him in tier 4. I'm not saying I don't want him there. I just didn't have them.
I'll put him at the back end of the tier. Then I just can't.
I just didn't put my top 8. I just put my top 8. Not he's outside my top 8, which is a tier break for me. So I just didn't have that.
Okay, that's interesting. I was pretty happy with how Hutchinson tested, but I guess that's just a difference of opinion. That's okay. I also have Devin A-Chain at the top of this tier. I think he tested really well. Again, keep in mind I have all these guys behind him that we currently have in tier 3. The tier 3 guys for me are like these extremely good, really hard to miss first round picks in drafts. So do you have Devin A-Chain in tier 4?
I do have Devin in here, yes.
Okay, so what do we do about these three guys? The one I would feel most comfortable about leaving up here would be Josh Downs. I'm curious where you stand. Let me know what your thoughts are. Right. I mean, my tier 3 is my 107 to my 112 in rookie drafts.
Right.
And I can't put these guys in that same category right now, personally.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand you. I think for me, these are guys that I believe are going to get the draft capital. You know, I know like someone like Sean Tucker didn't perform, or we didn't see him on the field, right?
How can we say that about Sean Tucker?
We didn't see that, but you know, I think the talent is there, and maybe if he does have at his pro day, if that even going to be a thing, because he hasn't announced anything, I think he's still going to be able to perform. But what we can do is let's bring Sean Tucker down and Chase Brown down and keep Josh Downs. I want everyone to know that I do have Chase Brown and Sean Tucker and Josh Downs all in tier 3 because I do believe these guys are going to be in the rookie drafts, you know, right at that end, that turn there, potentially. Like I think they could reach to that turn or into that 201 to 205 range that is still very, very valuable in my eyes. So that's how I was breaking it down in my head.
I definitely moved Chase Brown up in my rankings, but I don't have him anywhere near like end of first territory right now. He's my 207 in my rankings. Sure. So you can see where I'm coming from. Like again, tier 3 is my 107 to my 112. It's difficult to put someone who's my 207 right there.
I hear you.
And of course, like, let's find out what draft capital does for these players. So we're happy with this?
Yeah, I'm happy with this. As long as everyone knows where I'm at.
Is this a good compromise?
I'm happy with the compromise because I think maybe we'll even disagree more in tier 3 and once we get all the way up to tier 3 and 2.
All right, in my tier 3, I have Michael Mayer.
Yep, I'm there with you.
You know, he's one of those players who I actually think tested well based off what we saw on film. What we saw on film was not someone who was going to run a quick 40, but all the technical parts of being a tight end in the NFL, I think he performed really well at.
Agreed.
Someone who had a pretty disappointing performance, but I'm still holding on to hope that teams will look at the film more than just combine. Did fall slightly. Jordan Addison.
Yep, I have him here as well.
He I would argue, was even more disappointing his 40 time than Josh Downs. We have to take it with a grain of salt. Again, game film versus combine. What we're trying to predict is how the combine might affect draft capital. And for Jordan Addison at his size to run, what was it, 4.49?
Yeah, guys, 5'11", 173 pounds, 4.49. 10-yard split was 1.56. I mean, I'm pretty sure Roscoe had a faster 10-yard split than him, and he probably has an extra 20, 30 pounds on him, right? So that is wild to even think about.
By the way, his 10-yard split was like bottom 3/4 of all wide receivers who tested.
Yeah, it's wild, and
like he's very close to the bottom. And
Roscoe, by the way,
but again, man, like You know what I'm holding on to? Again, it's a film. Like,
Yeah, the
this
film is
player
there.
has proven time and time again that he can create separation.
That's why the combine, you need to take it with, like you said, you need to take it with a grain of salt. You need to make sure that it's not significantly changing your rankings as much. But yeah, completely agree. Just keep this in mind, guys.
And sorry,
I just want to give the people a comparison. Roscoe Jones, Rashawn, you know who I'm talking about. 219 pounds.
Yeah.
His split was 153. Jordan Addison,
153.
1.53. It was his 10-yard 152, excuse me. 1.52 was his 10-yard split. Jordan Addison, 173 pounds, and he is a 1.56 10-yard split.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be fair, we did hear reports that Addison had a tweak in his back. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Right.
Benefit of the doubt.
But again, I think it's important to note, like we've said throughout the entire every ranking video that we've put out, we have said these rankings are subject to change.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these players who weren't really able to test, we still have question marks on. They can definitely put themselves back up where they were or drop down. Okay, so right ahead, now my wide receiver 3 in the class is Zay Flowers.
Give it to Zay. Yep, he's here as well for me. He moved up.
I would not be surprised if he's I wouldn't be surprised if he's drafted ahead of Addison in real life draft, personally.
Yeah.
But
he
I'm not saying he will, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, he's a guy that when we punch in all the numbers and we put it all in, he's a guy that rolls a lot according to our database that we have, and he's now my wide receiver 5 here. Which is exciting. It is exciting. It's good to see how he performs. Has won the fastest 40s. He put on an extra 10 pounds. Came in a little bit smaller. We had him at like 5'10". He's 5'9", but putting that 183 was significant and having a decent 40-yard, which is also really very good.
So again, on film, he looks really fast. But what I love is that he was able to put on 10 pounds. Was it? I think 10.
Yeah,
right?
Literally 10 pounds.
And was still able to put up a pretty respectable 40 time. So that was good to see, because that's not what he would have been running at in college. All right, I have Zach Charbonnet, who I think he was my RB3. He's still my RB3. I feel like he has solidified himself. Honestly, I feel like I could put him even higher than this. I feel like between him and Gibbs, it's actually much closer than people want to admit.
Okay.
But I think he had a great combine, and like everything I wanted him to hit, he did. It's just an all-around back. I'm happy to put him here.
Yeah, happy to have him here as well. This is who I have as well in this tier 3. It did swap once again with the numbers and Sean Tucker not testing, not able to see what he's done. Sean Tucker was my RB3. Zach Charbonnet is now my RB3 after the combine and all the numbers being put into our database. So it's fun. It's interesting to see how, you got to stay true to your numbers and see what happens. So he's my RB3.
Trust the process. All right, I got Will Levis here. I did not watch much of his combine, to be honest, but I thought he did okay from just the highlights of the combine. People are saying he was a loser of the draft. Like, do you agree? Did you watch any of it?
I did watch. I don't think he was a loser personally. I think he was there. He was throwing the ball. You kind of saw every time he got on. Came up and did the drills. Apparently, from what everyone was saying, they were stopping and listening. How fast that ball was coming out of his hand, how strong because of his arm strength. So I thought he did well. I didn't think he set himself apart. I believe he just...
Of the 3, he probably answered less questions. Of the 4. Bryce, yes, CJ, A-Rich, he probably answered less questions than the rest.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
Okay, this is where it might get a little tricky. I have Quentin Johnston here in my tier 3. Now, again, another player that we don't have finalized testing numbers. We're hoping he's going to run his 40. But I already had him in this tier 3 before the combine. I haven't really moved him at all. I think he had a decent combine, but I don't know if you'll have him in this tier.
I have him in tier 2. Okay. So once again, guys, he is my wide receiver 1, a guy I believe in. He didn't come in as a 6'4". He came in as 6'3", which, we were talking about.
I kind of like.
We were talking about in the live stream. It's like, okay, maybe that is better for him. He's not as this tall, lanky dude. He's a little bit more versatile, more agile, especially in space. You can kind of see him playing that slot role and being versatile, being outside and the inside. I like it. I think it makes sense. Once again, like you said, Didn't run the 40. We don't know that time, which is another thing that we were hoping to see, how truly fast he was. Probably a business decision because Jackson Smith and Jigba also didn't run his 40. So,
after everyone was just tanking the 40 from these wide receivers, I feel like someone was in Quentin's ear saying, hey, we can only hurt ourselves now.
yes.
Right? There's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I have in tier 3. Do you have anyone else in tier 3?
No, that is it.
Okay. Well, because he's your wide receiver 1, it feels unfair for me to not give him to you in tier 2. I don't have him there, but I'll go ahead and leave him there.
That's fair.
Let's head to tier 2, which got a little bit bigger.
It did.
The only player I add into tier 2 was Anthony Richardson.
I would agree there.
He's not my 101. No, I understand that there's a conversation out there. What we said on the live stream, Badaki, was, did we expect Anthony Richardson to test well? Yes. Did we expect him to put up historical testing numbers? Probably not. So it is absolutely impressive, okay? 100% agree, it's really impressive. But just because he can run a 4.44 without pads on does not answer the questions to, can he be a franchise quarterback in the NFL?
Exactly.
It does help knowing how he can succeed in the NFL. We saw that on film already. We've talked about him as an elite rushing option. But just because we know he can run a 4.44, people will say in pajamas, right? Does not mean that he can stand in the pocket and process the game in real time. So I don't feel comfortable moving him up to the 101 or as my quarterback 1, but I'm really glad and happy with where he is here at my 106, essentially.
Completely agree. Everything that he did was phenomenal. Not a guy that, I mean, you nailed it on the head there. We don't know he's a franchise quarterback. Broke records left and right in height and weight, the 40-yard, the vertical, the broad jump in the quarterback position. He did phenomenal. Question mark is still there. Can he be the franchise guy?
Yeah.
Don't overreact. What was it?
I need to pull it up so I can remember exactly what I said, because I felt like Picasso. I felt like the songbird of my generation when I said it. But okay, here we go. No reaction is the wrong reaction, but overreaction again is the wrong reaction. So again, people setting themselves apart is great, but we don't want to completely swing a certain way and completely overreact to the combine either. Now, you might disagree with us. That's fine. Comment down below. Tell us if you think A-Rich is your quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Another player that I believe tested really well, was really happy with his testing, came in at 199 pounds, was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 199, but he also comes in at 5'9". So my comp for him this entire time has been DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones. And I feel more confident in that comp today than ever before. I kind of felt like Alvin Kamara, I didn't think he had that size. I understand when you just look at the players playing, but I feel like today, I feel just as good about Gibbs as I did the day before. Really good numbers, tested well, looked great in the drills. 5'9", I think, and a half or whatever it was, and 199 pounds. I still am hanging on to that Swift comp. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this.
He did really good. Had the second fastest 40 amongst running backs, right behind Devin A. Chain there. He ran a 4.36. Like you said, he came in at 5'9", 119 pounds. He did great. He showed the speed. The versatility is there. He's going to be a threat in the backfield.
I don't know if I heard you say this or if you did, but I don't know if you said 119 pounds. Just want to clarify. 199.
Sorry.
Maybe I heard that.
Maybe I don't
know. Just to clarify.
Y'all know me. Y'all know me, man. Y'all know me. Come on.
All right. Hey. Anyone out there who's been JSN wide receiver 1 from day one?
Hey.
You guys out there? How you feeling today? I'm feeling pretty damn good about my guy JSN.
Hey.
All this talk about he isn't going to test well. He doesn't have long run speed. We don't care. We don't care. I want the Stephen A. Smith meme. I don't care. We don't care. My wide receiver 1, JSN, I think he absolutely balled out. Solidified himself as one of the safest picks in rookie drafts. I've said it before. I'll say it again. 2 can't miss prospects. Bijan Robinson, JSN. Lock it in. I love me some Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Isn't it crazy that he did very minimal and I mean, look, I still have Quentin as my wide receiver 1. Excuse me. And Jackson Smith and Jigba literally right behind him by decimal points.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith is there. literally did nothing. Say, hey guys, I'm here. Got a couple balls, and everyone said, holy shit, it's Jackson Smith.
Well, no, to be fair, I think that's cutting him a little bit short because he did test really well.
He did
in every area outside the 40.
But I'm saying what he was doing looked very effortless.
Sure,
it looked very smooth.
The player he is.
Yeah,
but I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got 2 more players in this tier: C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. I know you have C.J. ahead of Bryce, so like it really doesn't matter how you guys want to put this.
Mm-hmm.
C.J., Bryce. For Badaki and I'll speak for both of us. I think we're on the same page. That's still our 1A, 1B. For me, it's Bryce as my 1A, CJ as my 1B. For you, CJ as your 1A.
1A, still? Yeah, Bryce as my 1B. Pick your poison, see what happens.
Nothing that's happened should change that so far, in our opinion.
No. I think one thing we can talk about really quick, Bryce Young came in at over 200 pounds, had a couple biscuits right before, weighed in, he chilled. CJ looked like probably one of the effortless throwers there as well. Did really well on the field. And they both, even though Bryce didn't do nothing, solidified the weight issues. CJ just did what he did.
And now NFL teams can just see, oh, okay, I'm not saying like he's the exact player, but okay, he measures in very close to Kyler Murray. Okay, we're in. We're all in. Yeah. Because literally the only concern you can actually point to at all for Bryce Young is his size. And I think he answered that question.
Agreed.
All right. And then at the tippy top, Badaki, I said I was hoping he would run a 4.5. You said 4.48 to 4.53, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And then he ran a 4.46 official Bijan Robinson. Absolutely exceeded expectations for me. The reason I have such troubles with this whole Anthony Richardson 101 conversation is because you literally can't miss with Bijan Robinson. There's not a scenario in which you miss with him unless he has like a career-ending injury. This is the most bulletproof player in the draft, and he's not just a running back. He is a dual-threat guy. So I think Bijan Robinson, like maybe this is too bold, but I think he comes in, he's a top 5 finish in his first year. Top 5 to 10 finish as a rookie. I think that's realistic expectations.
100%. It is definitely a realistic expectation, him being a top 5 running back. And also, in my opinion, going in the top 10, I do not see how a team does not take this reason.
It could happen.
You look, if Bijan...
I think top 15. I'll give you top 15.
I just don't see him going past, we said this before, I don't see him going past at least minimum the Eagles. If the Eagles are there, looking at their super team, looking how they just went to the Super Bowl, and what they need is a running back, and Bijan's there, you're stupid not to take him.
I can already tell you what every Eagles fan is going to say. We don't take running backs in the first round. That's not what our GM.
You better take Bijan Robinson, who is the best the best player since Saquon Barkley, and is going to change
the best Saquon Barkley since Saquon Barkley.
The best
Saquon on a map.
100%.
So those are our rankings. Again, guys, these are going to change as pro days happen, as we get draft capital here in over a month and a half now.
Just a little bit. Yeah, a month and a half. It's exciting.
It's going to change.
Gosh,
it's subject to change.
Pro days that are there as well, by the way.
Sorry?
Pro days. Keep in mind that once we get these official numbers from some of these guys, pro days like a Zach Evans, like a Sean Tucker, if they do participate, that's also going to be changing a lot of people's rankings once we have those numbers.
Absolutely. All right, guys, do us a massive favor. Drop a like to show some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. I want you to comment down below. What do you think? Who's too high? Who's too low? You can let us know, and we'll see you in the very next video.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.